But getting out of your own way is the most important thing. I'm telling you, it's all in our heads. No one is going to stop me. If I fail, I know that's on me. If I succeed, it's on me. So it's all on you. Get out of your way and start moving forward. I'm Jana Short. I'm the editor of Best Holistic Life magazine. I also have a best-selling book, Oh My Health, There Is Hope. And I work as a mindset coach. I actually was picked as a top Los Angeles coach again for year 2 in a row, so yay. But I literally work getting people to get into their real space, their authentic space, and to get that kind of acknowledgement when they're out working. Like, how do people know who you are? Even if you are the very, very, very best at what you're doing, if nobody knows who you are, who are you helping?
Oh, yes, yes. All right, sister. Sister, that is a mouthful there. That's a few mouthfuls. And so again, thank you for being willing to be on the show today. I just want to there's so many questions I had for you. So the first one is, again, when it comes down to messaging, why is messaging so important to you? Why helping people with their messaging is so important to you in particular?
So here's a little secret about me. I am now 60 years old, and I started this whole new phase of my life after I turned 51. And it is because I had a near-death experience where I was given a couple of weeks to survive, and it changed my life and how I saw everything. So I was an interior designer, and I used to have a Bentley, and I had a Prada bag and the Gucci shoes and all this stuff. And when I walked into a client's house, I knew they were going to hire me because I reeked of success. But when I was on my deathbed and there was no time left, I wasn't thinking about anything that was a possession. I had a brand new grandbaby. He was our fifth grandbaby. He was 9 weeks old, and my daughter put him in my arms, and all I could think about was, how will he have one memory of me? And all of a sudden, nothing was important to me anymore but creating that one memory, which is how this whole journey started. But when I first spoke on stage, it was to 30,000 people to share my story, and I was a nervous wreck. I literally kept saying, and all I could think about was they were judging me, right? I was sick and I was weak, and they were judging me, and I was shaking, I was sweating, I got off stage, I threw up. But as I'm walking off, the stage director put her hand on my shoulder and said, "Where are you going?" And I was like, "Am I not done yet? Can I just be done?" And she said, "Of course you're done. You did great. There is a group of people waiting to meet you." And I looked around the corner, and there literally was a line of hundreds of people. Why do they want to see me? What did I do, right? So I go down this line, and they were crying, and they were hugging me, and they were like, "What you said really resonated with me. I know someone who could use this." And it literally, I realized how powerful my journey was. And if I could just find the strength and get past that fear of sharing something so intimate of mine, like something I had to experience with the world, I could change things. I believe that our stories, the change that we create, is generational. This change is going to affect my grandchildren's grandchildren's grandchildren. I won't even be around to see it. But that's the kind of change I want to create in the world. And I know that we all have a little bit of that inside of us because we've all been through some shit. I just leaned into what was in my authentic space, and it was magical. So if you can find that space and lean into it, things will start changing for you.
So, but you sound awfully close to what I said, and that we are to lean into our discomfort. And when I say this, lean into our discomfort, the discomfort that is in that space of not knowing, the discomfort that exists in what is called liminal space, where you know that you have to let go of who you think you are in order to become whoever you may be. And that takes courage, and that takes audacity. It's definitely not a journey for the faint of heart. And as it said, the longest journey any of us will ever take is the journey from our heads, that distance, that journey between our heads and our hearts. That's the longest journey for any of us, you know, and all of us.
I'm going to give you a really big secret. Like, this
Okay.
is huge. Everything you need to do exactly what I did is already between these beautiful ears of yours. It's all mindset. It really, truly is. I did not cure myself from the illness that was killing me, but I learned to thrive in that space. Nothing changed for me, except for the fact that I wake up every morning. I'm happy. I feel like I'm thriving in that space. All you have to do is get out of your own way. So I hear people say all the time, you don't understand. I had an abusive relationship. I had my parents separated. My dad left me. Well, let me tell you, I was raised by an alcoholic father who was not there. I was a mother at the age of 16. Like, those things happened to me too. Like, none of us had a perfect life. Even now, nothing's perfect, thank goodness. It's full of messiness that I love. But I tell people, I'm now a 42-year-old daughter and I just turned 60, so you do the math. I went to college with her. I worked 3 jobs. I did what I had to do and I got out of my own way. So if you're saying I can't because of this happened, or I can't because that happened, I am telling you, you can do anything you want. The voices in our head are the excuses we make. I can't do this because I don't have enough money. I didn't think I could go to college because I was a single mom working 3 jobs. You can make it happen. You absolutely can make anything happen. I see people do it all the day. We are all capable of that. Every single one of us, no matter what baggage you're hauling around in your vehicle, we are all capable of that greatness. It took me being on my deathbed. It took it stripping me from everything that I thought was important, to knowing that, like, I have this moment to make a change and I'm not going to miss it. I'm not going to let it slip by. I don't want anyone to feel that hopelessness. Like, I want you to have hope in your life. And if there is air in your lungs, you still have hope in your life.
It's a mindset thing, right?
It's all minds. I'm telling you, it's everything is mindset. Everything. If you want to lose weight, mindset. If you want a great relationship, mindset. If you want to finish school, mindset. It's all mindset.
And so you're in my realm, okay? Because they're dealing with the mind, of course. I'm professional on my practices, of course, in psychotherapy, and so dealing with the mind is you're talking my language, and so yes, I also believe that it's a mindset, and it's also understanding that the limitations that the mind shows you or displays in front of you, that it says are your limitations, are not your limitations. It is the mind's limitations. It is the extent or the boundary of how far the sight the mind has, how far your mind can see you actually going there. But understand that the mind, it makes a projected hypothesis based off of things that you have experienced in the past. And based off of these things that you've experienced in the past, it formed conclusions about you. And also you develop a sort of code of behavior that was not inherent to you, but that you've inherited out of pain and fear. And so in that space of pain and fear, most certainly the mind dominates, and it will tell you how you're not going to do a thing because it doesn't want you to actually live. That's not the priority. You see, the mind believes that the body is an extension of it, but in reality, the mind was made last. And so it is the body and the mind being an extension of the body, and not the mind, not the body being an extension of the mind. You know, if that makes, does that make sense, sister? I'm saying this for the people, but does this make sense to you?
Yeah, no, it totally makes sense to me. I think you said it beautifully. It's very true, and it literally does live in the body before it goes to the mind, 100%. And it's a generational thing. So it doesn't have to be something traumatic that's happened to you to cause you to have that block. It could just be something you overheard as a young child, especially when it comes to being around money. And my brand is about creating hope in the world. That is my whole message. When you're creating a brand, and I do this all the time with people, they're like, oh, I picked this beautiful color and I got this great font and there's these great photos. That is not a brand. Your brand is so much deeper than that. My brand is about changing the world by giving them hope, letting them know they're not alone, letting them know that this may look perfect right now. Like it may look like I've got everything I need, but it's work. It is not perfect. It is full of messiness. And the messiness is the most perfect part about it. And so my mission, putting it in living in my truth, I speak my voice now. I get out there and I not only share my story, I give people the strength to start sharing theirs and creating a change in the world.
We've come here to have a full human experience in this place, this physical plane, this place of isness where everything is and nothing is not. We know a thing by its opposite. The sweet ain't sweet without the bitter. We know daylight by night. Like literally nothing exists without its opposite. So how can you truly have an appreciation for that light, that flame, that passion that has always been deep within you if you haven't yet understood your own darkness? That's why we become liberated when we lean into our discomfort of our darkness, because we realize that all that was a truth that we didn't have access to because we conjured up some monster and said that this is, you were operating off of what we were doing. We're operating off of inherited rules, inherited ways of thinking, things that people that loved us, because the cycle of humans is that we love first, and then like children, we love our children. And then because we love something so much, we become possessive to the extent that we fear losing that which we love. And so now we use fear to protect our loved ones instead of unconditional love, therefore indoctrinating the future generations with fear that they have to navigate and fight themselves out of. And so this is what we've inherited, a set of thinking algorithms based off of fear. But fear, that's what the mind is based off of. Literally, the amygdala is the fear center of the brain. So you're operating straight out of this. When it comes down to knowing your authentic self and stepping and developing the audacity to live unapologetically authentic, when it comes down to living in your truth and being lit for life, you have to go beyond that, much deeper than that. You got to go to your heart space and understand who you truly are through this. It doesn't matter about whatever so-called mistakes that you made in the past, because you haven't lived life unless you made mistakes. If you told me you haven't made sloppy mistakes in your life, then what you just told me is that you've been hiding in your closet your entire life. You're supposed to mess up. That's a part of life. Don't doubt your greatness because you quote unquote. What is a mess up anyway? Again, even when we stumble, we still stumble forward. Stop judging yourself. Like, just look at the things that you use to hold the reasons that you use to hold yourself back. When you really stare at that, you start to realize that it's quite illogical. And when you can determine that it's illogical reasons that you are using to hold yourself back, you can know that the guilty culprit is your inner critic. Deal with that bastard by feeding faith to yourself. If you feed your faith, your doubt will starve to death. I'm a pause, sister. I just had to say that real quick. Jump on in here. I just had to get real close up on the people. No, please tell me more. Tell me more about your mission. Tell the people what they need to know. Tell them about that mindset. Like, from what are some of the skills in particular that you can share, some freebies you want to toss out there for people as far as a mindset reset or a mindset reconditioning or deconditioning, however the phrase, whatever concept it is. How do you get there? Some freebies.
You get there by taking one step, right? Just first of all, the first step is being aware. And the second thing that you talked about a lot through this show, which I am so grateful for, is it all starts with us. I can't fix my kids. I can't fix my husband. I can't fix my neighbor. The only person I can work on and make any changes on is myself. And when you start changing yourself, I'm telling you, the energy that goes out starts creating change around you. So a couple of things that I would say is be aware. Be aware of the words you're saying to yourself. Be aware that you do not need a boss or a husband or a mom and dad or a sister and brother or friend to tell you the things that you need to validate yourself. Those should be coming from you. Nobody else's opinion should matter. If you need someone to say you look good today, you ought to get in that mirror and say, girl, wow, you look great. If you crush it in a job, you need to be telling yourself, giving yourself that reward and telling yourself you're doing awesome. That's the only opinion that matters. Everyone else's comes with baggage, right? They don't know what's going on with you. Start making the way you speak to yourself different. It sounds simple, but thoughts become things. I'm telling you. I am still alive because of the power of thought, not medicine. Nothing could help me. Thoughts become things. So the thoughts you put in your head become reality. And if you're putting up blocks, it becomes a thing and it blocks you. So thoughts become things. I can't say that enough. And by the way, the secret to success, I'm telling you, this is true. 80% of it is mindset. 20% is strategy. But the people who are living in fear spend 80% on strategy, never change their mindset, and they don't quite get there. So 80% mindset for business, for success, for love, for friendship, for anything in your life. 20% on strategy. Don't get caught up in strategy, because once you get your mind right, everything will fall into place. It really does.
This is why I love what I do, because it's freed me from so much of the illusion, so much of the matrix. I want us all to be free. You know, my desire is to free as many people from this illusion of shame and worthlessness and helplessness as possible. And I understand this, that I don't blame you for feeling for feeling the way that you feel. That's not anything to be blamed. It's just merely a perspective shift, because we were indoctrinated with fear. And when you become indoctrinated with fear through fear's eyes, life is a bitch and then you die. That's what the mind will tell you. And so if that's what life is, you better stay as safe as possible. You better shield yourself as much as possible. Don't try to connect with people, because they'll hurt you. Don't try to make business deals. They'll steal your money. Don't go out there and use your voice. People will throw tomatoes at you. That's what the mind will tell you. But you're not here to merely have a full human experience, but also to discover who you are while having this full human experience. Because that discovery, or rather remembering of who you always been, that's who you truly are. That's the who am I, not your story. We are not our story. Know that if you decide from this moment forward that you are a billionaire entrepreneur, that's exactly who the hell you are. And from this moment forward, you behave as such. The longest that it takes a while for the physical reality to catch up to the decision that you made. But when you align your aura, when you align your thoughts, words, and deeds, when you know your sponsoring thought affirms your reality instead of what it is, I don't want to experience this anymore. No, I choose. You speak from a place of empowerment, this I am, because you're a mini creator. And when you radically change your thoughts along that frequency where you're affirming yourself, then you speak those words that affirm your reality, enhancing and magnifying the power of manifestation. And then lastly, with your thoughts and the words in alignment, you then align your feet. In a world that wants you to do anything other than be your true authentic self, you do it anyway. And when you do that, now you've hit the code. That's the code for rapid manifestation. All you have to do from that point forward is continue to live and move in your truth. If you continue to do that, I assure you, if you don't give up, whatever it is that you're seeking to experience and desire, it's there. It's yours. It will be yours. That's my last little take. Sister, please close us out. Close us out. Shut us down for the show.
Well, first of all, it's been a real pleasure being here. And you're so right. If you take away nothing from this show, take away those last words, that you can change this right now. Whatever that is right now, moving forward, you can make that change. It doesn't matter. It does take a while for it to catch up with you, but just in those steps, you can make that change now. And I am all about living in the right now, because I lived in the past and I lived in the future, and I missed the whole beautiful part that was really going on. Love those words. Thank you so much, Harry.